All right.
Great.
If all the students here do not know who I am, which I hope you do, I'm Mr. Sonderback, and I run the College and Career Center here at Vista High School. And today, this is part of Career Weeks. We have Officer Escobar from the California Highway Patrol with us. And basically we're gonna talk to him a little bit about what his job is and how you might get to the same thing from high school. I think Mr. Escobar wants me to play a video for you guys first. So why don't we start off with that? And I'm gonna do this. And I'm gonna go to this. And I also need to share my sound. So here we go. Give me a thumbs up if this looks correct.
We are yours, California. It is our privilege to serve our golden home out west. We've driven your roads for quite some time. Perhaps you've seen our colors. A shining point of light amid your vast and varied landscape. In the desert and the forest, from the mountains to the sea. We are many, and we are one. You see, the road is a place we call home. A world of asphalt and concrete, rubber and steel. We are boots on the ground. We are wings in the air. 2 wheels and 4. We are blood and sweat, tried and true. We come from every walk of life. And we are many, yet we are one. When you call for help, we'll pick up the phone. We'll find you when you're off the beaten path. We'll hold your hand when you're afraid and tell you things will be all right. We've listened to your stories, heard your cries. We felt your pain and shared your loss. You give us purpose, and we will give everything to protect you. There are no roads we don't cross, no lives we don't touch, no walls we won't climb, no place we won't protect, no hours we won't work. Our work is the kind that doesn't end. And our reward is each new day. Your trust has paved the way for our success. And our gift to you is a promise of nobility. We will stand watch through the night, through wind and rain and snow and sun. We are black and white, blue and gold. We are many. We are one. We are your California Highway Patrol.
Right.
Wow,
Pretty awesome video, right?
that was awesome. I'm all choked up.
Yeah. Yeah, it gives me goosebumps every time I see it. It's a very awesome video. So it shows a lot of what we do. Well, hello everybody. Thank you for being here. I want to introduce myself. I'm Officer Escobar with the California Highway Patrol. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Oceanside CHP area office. And so a little bit about me. I grew up in Encinitas and went to San Diego out there in La Costa. Prior to becoming an officer, I was an explorer for the California Highway Patrol. And so I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that program. It's a pretty cool program where you have to be between 15 and a half to 21 years of age. And it's almost kind of like an internship program. And you get to come out and do ride-alongs with us, get to learn what we do, go to competitions with other law enforcement explorers, and run through a bunch of different scenarios. And so it gives you a real good edge as to what the CHP is about. And so I'll touch base a little bit more about that Explorer program. And so started the academy back in 2007. I graduated in 2008. I went to, my first assignment was at Baldwin Park, which is up in LA County. And then I was able to come back home. So I went to San Diego. I was there for 9.5 years. And then eventually came here to Oceanside in 2019. So I've been here for about 2 years, working patrol the entire time. Helped out a little bit here and there with public relations until I finally got the public information officer spot here at the beginning of the year. So I got 3 kids, 16, 9, and 4, and and my wife. So we also live out here in North County. So it's nice being able to be here working in the city and the community that I grew up in. So. But a little bit about the CHP. So with the CHP, you would have to, well, first you would apply, you would get in, submit your application, go through several different steps before you're accepted to the CHP. So you would take a written test. That's why it's very, very important to to pay attention in school and some of the classes, especially English, because believe it or not, about 90% of our job is writing. And so I was not a big time fan of writing back in the day, but that's what I do now. It's 90%, and then 10% of that is being out there and doing all the other stuff that comes along with the patrol. And anytime you arrest someone, you got to write about it, right? So again, the academy is 28 weeks long. So once you've gone through the entire process, there'll be a background process. They'll put you through medical screening, and once you've completed all the different steps, I believe there's like 7 or 8 different steps that you have to go through. Psychological evaluation, what else? There's a lie detector machine also that you have to go through. So go through all the steps. Once you pass all that, then you get accepted to the academy, and then you start. So the academy is 28 weeks long at the Sacramento. And so it's a live-in academy paramilitary. So you're there for the entire week. You have liberties on Wednesday nights after 5, and then you have to be back at the academy grounds before 11. By 11:59 is when you have to be back. And if you're not back, then stand by, right? Because it's like I said, it's boot camp. And so then on the weekends, you get your liberty again from 5 o'clock on Friday all the way up till 11:59 p.m. that weekend on Sunday. And then you start your routine at the academy. The days are long. You start about 4 o'clock in the morning. You do your physical fitness training. After that, then you move on with the rest of the day. You have a little bit of drill, so you're actually marching out there. You have the classroom time, so it's like being in college with the added physical fitness part and the marching. So you're in a classroom setting the entire day. As you progress, then you start getting into the driving aspect of the job, the training. So you have 4 different levels of driving courses that you go through. One of them, which is called high speed, and that one, I mean, you're basically pushing the limits to how fast you can go. And so I remember the first time that I did it, I was in a speed racer back then, so it kind of took me a little bit by surprise when you're hitting 120 miles per hour on a turn and you're driving inches away from a wall. So it's pretty intimidating at first. So we lose a lot of cadets in the driving aspect. And then we also have the shooting range, so we get proficient in regards to the weapon use, so with the rifle, shotgun, and also the 40 cal. So once you graduate from the academy, then you get assigned to a specific office. And I believe there's 140 different, let's see here, 140 different offices that you can actually go to throughout the state. So when you're around week 22 at the academy, they give you what's called a dream sheet. And so you pick from the lowest favorite office that you want to go to your most favorite. And so typically, if you are single and don't have kids that are in school, not married, don't own a property, then you're probably going to go wherever there's an opportunity. So that means that you're probably going to be going to either the Bay Area up in San Francisco, Oakland, or if not, the LA area. So for me personally, I put Oakland as my very last choice because, again, I grew up here in North County, so I wanted to be as close to home. I was able to get Baldwin Park, which is the closest, so I would be like an hour and a half every day at the time to get there. The cool thing about it is once you've completed your first year, then you can put in what's called the transfer, and so that's done based on seniority. I was lucky that I was able to get to San Diego after my first year, and so I spent the next 9.5 years there. So that's what's nice about this department, that you can start in LA or start in San Francisco, Oakland, wherever, and then or stay in San Diego, and then let's just say you want to go north or you want to go somewhere else, try something new. It's easy. Just put in your transfer. Your seniority allows you to get there. You get there, as opposed to like other agencies. You could only, for example, let's take San Diego Sheriff's Department, for example. So if you're with the Sheriff's Department, then you're stuck in that city in San Diego. And if you want to go and work up in LA, or you want to go up and work in Northern California, the police officers out there, you have to go through their hiring process. As opposed to us, you don't have to do that. You just put your transfer and then you go to another office up in wherever you want to go. Another cool thing too about our department is that, let's just say, you come into the CHP and then you decide, you know what, maybe I want to try Escondido PD. Then you're able to lateral. You still have to go through their hiring process, but you're able to lateral. However, if you are from a different agency, let's just say Carlsbad PD or Escondido PD, and you want to come to the CHP, you have to go through our hiring process, and you also have to go through our academy too. So every CHP officer that you see out there on the road, or any CHP officer, we get assigned a badge number. Every officer has gone through the same academy, the same training. So it's kind of a cool thing, just because you see another officer and you know exactly what they went through because you went through the same thing through their academy. So again, once you graduate, you can go to any office. The cool thing about the academy is that you're actually getting paid while you're at the academy, and so the base pay as a cadet, you're making between 5,267 to 6,751 as a cadet. And so one of my recommendations is always go to college after high school, go to college, get your degree. By having that extra degree, let's just say you get an associate, then you would get an additional 2.5% on top of your base pay when you're at the academy. So right off the bat, you're making more money than, say, someone who didn't go to college. Now, if you have a bachelor's degree, which I would strongly recommend, then you get an extra 5%. So now, again, from the very beginning, you're already making more money than the other person next to you who probably doesn't have college. All we require is just a high school or GED is what we require. But again, having that extra college, it only benefits you in the long run, right? So once you start in your office as a new officer, you're probably going to be working graveyards, probably for the first part of your career, depending on where you're at. So if you're up in LA, you get a lot of new people that come in. So as the academies are going through, so you're getting new officers are coming in, so your seniority is going to build up a little bit faster than, say, for example, if you were to go to a more desirable area like San Diego. So I worked graveyards for about 5-6 years. I worked graveyards, and then finally I was able to work a day shift and then get onto a morning shift. So there are a little bit of sacrifices, but the cool thing about that too is that if you work graveyards, then you also get an incentive pay. So you're making a little bit more money for working those different shifts. So it's kind of a plus. So as I mentioned before, there are 140 different offices throughout the state that you can go to. So you're not necessarily, you don't have to spend your entire career working in a specific location. So that's a huge incentive. So the opportunity for growth, there's a lot of different fields that you can get into besides just working patrol. So you can get into, say, for example, my role, public information officer. So that's a specialized spot that you can get into. We have public information officers in each one of our offices, and also there's public information officers at our division level. So like division offices. So that means is that the state is basically kind of divided in several different divisions. And so each division, for example, we're in border division. So some of the offices that encompass border division would be, just to name a few, Santa Ana, San Juan, Capistrano, Oceanside, San Diego, El Cajon, El Centro, just to name a few. All those offices are within that division. And so within that division, then you also have more public information officer opportunities there. You also have drug interdiction officers. You have auto theft. You have accident investigation. So a lot of our job is to investigate traffic collisions. So you'll see us out there on the freeways investigating big collision scenes, and we have this other position which is called MATE, which is the Multidisciplinary Accident Investigation Team. And those guys, if you're really, really, really good with math, that's a spot to be in, because those guys are some big math, very knowledgeable with it, and so they reconstruct these horrific scenes sometimes, and these big type of collisions. For example, we just unfortunately had a big collision that occurred last week in El Centro, where unfortunately several people lost their lives. And so for that type of collision, that would be something that this group MATE would actually go out there and respond and investigate the collision aspect of it and reconstruct as to like what may have occurred or what happened in the collision. So We also have canine spots too. It's a very cool position. So the canine, the dog actually it lives with you, um, and pretty much kind of a part of the family. Well, with the officer, and so he's your partner. He's with you all the time. So you don't go anywhere without your canine while you're out there out there working. And so, as you guys saw in the video too, we also have air operations, air ops, and so that's the position. So you'll have helicopter pilots, you'll have fixed wing pilots, they're out there patrolling. Mostly you'll see the fixed wings like out in the desert. So if you're ever driving out to say Nevada or long stretches of the desert, you'll probably see the airplanes up there conducting radar. So you'll have the airplane officer up there letting the ground guy officers know, like, hey, here's this vehicle and he's traveling at 100 or whatever the speed may be. So they're doing traffic control from up above. So it's kind of cool. You have the helicopter pilots, which they do a lot of different things. They do search and rescues. You have a flight observer. You also have medics that are embedded with the helicopter crew. So when they go out there and do search and rescue missions, you have somebody who's a medic. So you don't have to be a pilot to be a medic. So if you let's just say you go to school, you go to college, and you take classes related to EMT, then that's a plus. That's something that you can use to come in if you decide that you want to get into a medic and helicopter. So there's a lot of opportunities there, and also working with Homeland Security. As you also saw too, there was motorcycle officers out there. That's also a specialized position. And so to be a motorcycle officer, you have to go back to the academy, not as a cadet, you're an officer now, but you have to go through 2 weeks of an academy with the instructors out there. And so it's a very hard course, so not everybody that goes to that training actually makes it. So they want to make sure that these officers that do make it through that training, they are the best of the best out there. And I hand it to those guys because those guys they're amazing at what they do. Actually thought about being a motorcycle officer, but my wife said absolutely not. So it is what it is, right? So for now, I guess I could just look at them and be like, wow, that's pretty cool. But they do a lot of different cool things. They, for example, when we have like a dignitary that comes in, or the president for that fact, they'll be part of the motorcade and providing that service. In other words, doing traffic control for them. So they do a lot of different cool things. So it's a very cool position to be in. DUI enforcement, that's our bread and butter right there as well, aside from accident investigation. So especially during night times, we're out there looking for DUI drivers. And we see a lot of, unfortunately, bad collisions as a result of DUI drivers. So again, that's our bread and butter right there with the DUI enforcement. We also have CHP Marine patrols. And so those guys and women, they're out there mostly like in the Bay Area, is where they're usually at. And they're out there patrolling in the Bay. So that's a pretty cool spot if you also want to be working in the water. We have Capitol Protection Detail, so those officers work at the Capitol. And so, as you saw, that they also have bicycle patrol, and they also have officers on horseback. So there's a lot of opportunities there in the Capitol Protection. And aside from that as well, they also have what's called the Capitol or Governor's Protection Detail. So I don't know if you guys were aware, but just like say for example, like the president has their security team. special agents. So pretty much every state's the same way. We're like the Secret Service for the governor. So there's a team that actually is assigned to the governor's detail, and so anywhere that the governor goes, those officers also go with them too. So that's a pretty cool spot if you're a younger guy and of course not married or family, just because you have a lot of opportunity to travel a bunch of different places wherever the governor goes. So we also have SWAT. So, and mostly for the SWAT team, you'll probably see those mostly in our more bigger areas, say for example the Bay Area, also up in LA. So you'll see SWAT up in those areas. Not so much down here, but mostly up there. I mentioned bicycle patrol. They also have a bicycle patrol at Golden Gate Bridge, and so those are some pretty good, some big landmarks. And so the highway patrol takes care of those locations. So we patrol them, and so there's a bicycle patrol unit that also covers that. We also have a commercial inspection officers, and so you'll mostly see those officers if you've ever driven, say on the 5 freeway, going north, like if you're going up towards LA, you'll see the San Onofre checkpoint. So that's where you'll see our commercial officers, and also if you're on the 15 going up towards the Temecula, there's another office there. And so those officers deal more with commercial vehicles, semi trucks, and making sure that the semi trucks are out there following all the rules and that their trucks are safe. So those are also different positions that we have. And yeah, and the child safety seats, we, like I said, we offer a bunch of different programs. Child safety seat one being one of them, where we have parents that are expecting, and we'll install the child safety seats to make sure that their kids are safely buckled in there. Salaries. So here's the cool part. So again, as a cadet, you're making between 52.67 to about 67.51. So again, you're getting paid while being at the academy. If you go to, say, for example, Palomar, I know because I went to Palomar College, they have like an academy there, or administration of justice. And so for those type of academies, you'll probably have to pay your way through. Other agencies, same thing like with us, they'll hire you, and then they'll pay for your training, just like what we do. So we'll pay for your training. The extra perk with us is that when you're up at the academy, you're living there, they're basically supplying a roof over your head. They're also providing all the food for you that you're going to be eating while you're up there, and you're getting paid. And you're also, when you come out of there, you're going to be in the best shape of your life. And you got all that basically for free because you're getting paid for it. And so it's, and so an officer pay, you'll be making, once you graduate, you'll be making about 7,379 to about 9,153. So in addition to your base pay, you also have physical performance pay. If you're bilingual, you also get an additional $100 a month for being bilingual. For being a canine, you'll be making an extra 156. Educational incentive, as I mentioned before, you'll be making more. If you ever get into a field training position where you're training new officers, you also get an additional percentage there. So as you can see, every one of these extra different positions that you can get into, there's also more pay that comes involved with it. So even as a motorcycle pay, you get an additional 4% on your base pay. So now let's just say you have your bachelor's degree, you're making an additional 5%. You're riding a motorcycle, you're making another 4%. So that's 9% extra that you're making. So it's a pretty incentive. Now, flight paid officer. So that's where the big bucks are. I think if you're an officer, so you'll be making as a pilot probably about you'll be making about 98,256 a year, and that's just the base pay. And also as a flight officer, you'll be making 87,840. So those positions, obviously, a little bit more hazardous. Probably you're up in the air, so you're making a lot more money. You also get a shift differential, as I mentioned before. If you work graveyards, if you work the swing shift, it's more, they'll give you an extra percentage on top of your base pay.
Okay.
And the longer you are in the
Because we're gonna
department.
run out of time. So we're.
Okay, perfect. So aside from that, you also have yeah, so also aside from all this, we also have public safety dispatchers too. So we all work together. So those are the dispatchers. So I know there's a lot of information I really like to share. I know we're running out of time, so I guess we'll kind of leave the floor open here for if you guys have any questions.
Yeah, we got some of the chat. One of the first ones was, one of the kids was asking, what kind of what's the jurisdiction? And I think that's one of the mythologies that's out there too, is that, CHP goes where?
That's a perfect question. So we're statewide. So we have jurisdiction in the entire state. So we cover the entire state of California. So let's say, for example, if you have a local agency that are confined to that area, we cover the entire area.
The other question I see on here is, which agencies would you interact with most? Would it be local, state, or federal?
Who do we get to interact with most, you mean?
Yeah.
Mostly the local agencies, so like your police departments and also your sheriff's departments. And then if you're more in a different task force, like auto theft or a more specialized position, then yeah, you'll probably have the opportunity to also work with like the Department of Justice, the FBI, other entities.
What we want to know is their overtime pay.
Overtime pay, yeah, cha-ching, right? So yeah, there's you definitely get an additional pay percentage for the overtime that you make. So on top of from your monthly pay that you're getting, let's just say you're making $9,000, just to kind of throw a rough number there. And then let's just say you work an extra amount of hours off your regular shift, then you're getting that as extra pay. And the pay varies depending on your seniority and the amount of time that you've been on the department. So it's kind of hard to say how much more you're going to be making.
If I were in high
Time
school
and a half.
now, being in high school right now, what's something I should do to prepare to get in?
So definitely take a lot of English classes. Stay fit too. So run, work out, because it's very demanding once you get onto the department. When you go to the academy, it's very physical fitness related. But take a lot of English courses. If you're going to go to college, take a lot of English stuff. Because again, you're going to be doing a lot of English grammar comprehension. The written test that you take is going to be a lot of English grammar and stuff.
And of course, be part of the Explorers program if you can. Then
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
And I'll send you.
I'll try to get information for the students.
Yeah, and I'll send a flyer to you as well for that. So unfortunately, right now because of COVID, we don't have the Explorer program right now currently active. But hopefully, once everything kind of opens up, and we're going to be opening that back up again and accepting applications as well. So the Explorer program has to be between 15.5 to 21, and you're to come in, talk to one of the officers that are in charge of the Explorer program, and submit your application. And kind of like with the department where you have to go through a background check, it's the same thing with the Explorer post. So you go through a little background check, and if everything checks in, then you would come in. Cool thing about that is that you have 4 different level academies. So you have the first academy that we have is a couple hours where you're kind of learning what the department's about. And then the second one, you get to do first aid, CPR. Third academy, you go up to the academy and you're up there for a week, boot camp. And then the fourth academy is the same thing. You go up to the academy for a week, boot camp, with the addition that you get to actually drive the vehicle, not the high speed, but just do some of the more lower key driving courses that we do up there. And also, I believe that they also do the shooting range too, and that would be for level 4. So the incentive about this is that once let's just say you do go to want to become an officer with the CHP or any other agency, you have an upper advantage as to what to expect when you're getting into that academy.
Okay, we're going to run out of time because we got to get to our next period. But Officer Escobar, thank you so much for taking time for us with us today to kind of give us a lay of what the CHP is all about and how to get there from high school. And I hope to have you back again, if not this year,
Yeah.
next year. And like I said, these are short periods to go through these, but we'll have you back for a little bit longer time in the future. And hopefully
Yeah.
next year you'll be here on campus. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. And then I'll type my my email address. Let me see if I can do this.
Thank you very much.
Let's see here. You're welcome. Let me type in my shoot. You still there? Perfect. Okay. Go ahead and share my email address.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
You still there?
The video, and I'll post all of your information and everything about the program.
Yeah, please post my email address. I know we run out of time, so if any other students has a question, feel free, please, to reach out to me via email, and I'll be more than happy to respond back with any questions.
Yeah, that'll be up in a couple of weeks. Anyway, thank you very much for coming in. I do appreciate it. And thanks, students, for being here with us, and instructors for bringing your students as well. And I hope everyone got something out of this today. I know I did. And I will see the rest of you in one of our other sessions. Thank you for being here.
Well,
Thank you.
here, I'll put it in here.
Thank you.
Mr. Soderbeck, did we have I thought we had another session with CHP later this afternoon, not today, but later in the week. I thought we had it.
No, this is it.
Oh, this is it.
We
Okay.
had one before, but he had to go on a call before.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Guys,
We do have the FBI coming.
Appreciate it. I've got a lot of family in law enforcement, including a brother that's retiring next year out of BART PD. So thank you very much. I know how much you guys are in the line, so appreciate that.
yes, sir. And then, yeah, let me know if you guys need me to come in later on this week or anything like that, and then
Yeah.
we can see what we can do.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.